My name is Kara Pangilinan. I go to the University of Washington, and I'm double majoring in English and human-centered design. As part of this internship, we are currently working on a virtual reality experience that will emulate the Great Seattle Fire, and we essentially place players in a situation where they act as volunteer firefighters and see what it was like to be there during the Great Seattle Fire.
I'm Rob Rood. I'm a VR developer here in Seattle. I do a lot of freelance VR projects. So right now the interns are working with me to develop an experience based on the Great Seattle Fire for the LSAMP internship partnership with the Seattle Public Library.
My name is Stephen Cooper. I'm a senior at University of Washington, and I'm studying computer engineering. So a viewer of the experience should hope to be able to witness how the technology of the time was so much different than what we have today. How the things that we take for granted as just modern marvels of technology were, light years beyond what they had at the time. And so the processes and the technology that we have now are put in place are able to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again.
My name is Deborah Cox. I'm one of the special collections librarians here at Seattle Public Library. I think it's important for people to learn about the Great Seattle Fire because it is such a turning point in the history of Seattle. The Great Seattle Fire, in a way, put us on the map and forced us to become a modern city. When you think about the fire and how it burned down those old rickety wooden buildings, well, that changed the approach to architecture in the city. When you think about how they couldn't get the water to the fire in order to put it out, that changed how water was brought to the city and how it was used. It, in fact, changed the infrastructure of the city.
So what's unique about this VR experience is the recreation of a historical space based on historical content. So it's not a game where someone sat down and decided, hey, what's fun to do, let's make something that people really enjoy. This is about giving people an impression of what actually happened at a point in history based on that actual content so that they can understand from a first-person perspective what that environment was like. We're used to looking through history books as just being lists of dates and names, and this is actually putting someone in that space. So in the VR space, you can do things with the objects that you can't really do in real life. So if you want a picture to change its size, we're used to a small digital card collection item, and if we want it to make it a little bit larger, you can scan it, photocopy it. Whereas in VR, you can literally take the object and just stretch it open, and it's a larger object, see finer details, and actually check things out like that.
Human-centered design is a major under the College of Engineering, and it focuses on people and their interactions with the world. So we design with users at the forefront of the process. One example of using my skills from human-centered design in the project was when we conducted usability testing. We were testing out how our experience was like for participants. So they would go through the experience and tell us what could have been improved, what was confusing. And my job in that part was primarily making note of the things that confused them or frustrated them and working on making the improvements so that we can have a better experience for them.
I originally came onto the project working as a software developer intern, and then as the project progressed, Rob, our boss, asked if one of us would like to take over a role as a project manager to gain experience on leading the team, planning, and so I jumped at that opportunity. I saw it as a chance to gain more experience, to really learn from a position of leadership, and ever since I've had that position, I've absolutely loved it. So the internship that I'll be working on over the summer is with HBO, and I'll be a technical product manager. And so my role in that, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to get that job without my experience working with LSAMP and working with the library. The skills that I've learned during the VR development process as a project manager really helped give me a foot up on the competition, and it really gave me the skills and the guidance to be able to lead a team. And that's ultimately what I'll be doing over the summer.
This internship has changed my idea of the public library because it introduced me to resources I didn't know existed before. Part of the primary goals of this internship was to introduce patrons to the special collections section here at the Central Library. I had the amazing opportunity of being introduced to what types of resources you can access through the special collections, as well as being able to open up this opportunity to others.
So I've been interested in doing VR historical projects for a long time. Actually, 10 years ago, I had an idea about what you could do with VR in like a historical setting. At the time, the technology actually didn't exist yet to make that practical, and now that is possible. And so when this opportunity came up, I was very excited to actually come in and work with the library on it.
This exhibit, I think, will change the way we use the space at the library, in that the space will be activated. And that's something that's very important to us. We need to take it to the next level. And we talk about that a lot in special collections. What are some new ideas, some innovations that we can use? And virtual reality was the answer to that. I think that it will be very exciting. I think it will be something new for a lot of our patrons who come through the library. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what their reactions are.